Hi, friends. It's Sherry here with you today. We have about an hour practice for this very special restorative yoga session that's geared for those of you who are either confined to bed or spending a lot more time in bed due to some health conditions. It's always a good idea to check with your healthcare professional to make sure this practice will be safe for you. But in general, restorative yoga is really helpful in just about any situation, especially if you're dealing with some orthostatic intolerance, also known as POTS in some cases. It can be really helpful and nourishing for those types of conditions. So, for today's practice, we have a bed right here. You, of course, could do this practice on the floor, but again, we're really looking at this as a bed routine. So you'll need a bolster or whatever you might be using as a bolster substitute. Some blankets rolled up could work, a couch cushion. You'll need a blanket or two. Feel free to have as many blankets as you like. You probably have one in bed, but a pillow will work as well. We need some extra padding because we're not going to be using blocks today because they don't stand up very well on a mattress. And so, because of that, I also have some two other couch cushions. So, maybe a bigger pillow, a few other pillows will do well for you. And then, as a bonus, if you have an eye pillow or an eye mask, that will work really nice in Shavasana today. So, that's all you need to get started. Um, if you want to kind of set the ambiance in the room, if you've been confined to bed, maybe you're feeling some stagnation in energy. And we're going to be working through that with the poses today to help get energy flowing, to help digestion, and to help stretch out some muscles that may be tightening due to less physical activity. But if you want to light a candle, have some essential oils going, some music on in the background, I'll put some music suggestions and essential oil suggestions in the description below the video if you really want to set a nice, nurturing environment that can make a really big difference with restorative yoga. So use this time for your own self care. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to come to our backs. So lie down on your back and you're going to bring your feet together like this and your hands together. So I think you can see me through here at this angle. And we're just going to take our hands and our feet and we're going to rub them together really fast. Like, okay, start. It's like you're trying to start a fire with your feet and your hands. And so we're really activating some acupressure points in our feet and our hand. Our feet and our hands really have a ton of great energetic points. And so this is really nice to do to wake up in the morning, or in this case, we're trying to get energy flowing throughout the body, again, to help with that stagnation. So, this is a really nice way to start before focusing on a restorative practice. So, all right. So, you may feel some buzzing in your hands and your feet. So, that's all normal and good. So, we've got some good energy flowing, some good vibes. Now, let's go ahead and move into our practice. So, we're going to start with just a simple forward fold. Have your bolster handy depending on where your flexibility is because we do not want any strain, especially if you're dealing with some sacroiliac joint pain. We don't want to overtax our lower back. So if you're super flexible and feeling it, inhale, exhale, and come gently forward to your level of comfort. And we're going to have our palms facing up to make this a very passive stretch. So it's okay if we round the back. Now, if you don't have a lot of flexibility, if you're feeling some strain, that's okay. Go ahead and grab your bolster and you can very simply just cross your arms, bring your forehead down. We're just looking for a very gentle stretch in our hamstrings, and also, most importantly, forward folds are very nurturing to our nervous system. It calms down the spine, it calms down all those active nerves, and that's really what we're going for. So it's not about how deep you get into the stretch or how far you go. It's just finding that comfort. And we're going to start finding our breath right here. So you might be breathing a little heavy depending on how you feel after rubbing your hands and feet. So let's go ahead and just slow it down. So we're going to focus on our lower belly, and we're going to take a nice deep inhale in for 4. So inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's do that again. Let's inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. One more time. Let's go. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You don't have to keep counting. You can just focus on some nice deep inhales and exhales through your lower belly. Let's go ahead and move the bolster if you're using it and come up from our forward fold. We're going to move now into a side stretch. So with all these poses, I tried to get the best angle at the camera as possible with the bed, but it's really about how it feels for you. You don't need to look exactly like I do in a pose, so just use my voice to cue through the poses, because restorative yoga, remember, it's all about finding comfort in the poses, and that looks different for every single body. So how you utilize props, how I do it's a good starting point if you like, but feel free to adjust. Always listen to your body first with what it wants to do, where it wants to go in a pose, how long it wants to hold it, really making this your own practice. So we're moving into a side body stretch that's really good for stimulating energy flow as well. So I consider it a double win. So we're going to take our bolster and we're going to have it going horizontal across the bed. And we'll have it about maybe a third of the way down. We'll play around with it. And so you're going to approach the bolster on your right side. Let's go ahead and start there. So your legs are going to be straight out, or you can have a slight curve in your knees, a slight bend. It doesn't matter. As you lie down over the bolster, you're going to figure out which way is going to be the most comfortable. You want to feel supported in this pose. You don't want to be trying to actively hold it. And so that's, again, going to look different for everybody. So you're going to be on your side, and you want the bolster to be underneath your upper chest area. So I'm going to lie down over it for the example. So again, your upper chest is going to be over top the bolster, and then you're going to go ahead and straighten your arms out overhead. So kind of like you're diving into a pool is how I think about it. So they're above your head, your palms can be together, and you're just going to find some comfort and stability in this pose. And you're going to feel a nice gentle stretch in your left side. And so let's actually focus on breathing into that left side. So go ahead, close down your eyes. And on your inhale, I want you to focus on expanding your left waist and especially your left chest, your side ribs, your armpit, that entire area. We're just going to pretend like you're blowing up a balloon and it's expanding. So inhale and expand. Exhale and deflate, but in a positive way. Really get out that last bit of breath. Inhale again. Focus on expanding that left waist, that left upper chest. Your ribs are just expanding, expanding. Exhale all the way out, back down. if you can expand more with each breath. Again, we're slowing down, we're expanding, we're enjoying all this extra space. Your lungs are just loving all that extra room you're developing for them, all that great self care, all this energy that you're stimulating to move through your body. It's going to feel so good. So just keep breathing deep and expanding. Let's go ahead and breathe in. Inhale. We're going to turn slightly over so that we can bring our palms to the bed. Go ahead and press yourself up in any way that's comfortable. We're going to move over to the other side. So let's just go ahead and very slowly, again, we transition nice and slow over to our left side. Same thing. You're going to extend your legs in whatever way is comfortable for your body. So go ahead and go there. Either straighten them, have a slight bend in your knees. And let's go ahead and find that upper chest point on the left side. Extend our arms over top. We're just diving into relaxation. And find that right point for you that gives you the stretch now in your right side. So again, on your inhale, we're going to focus on expanding that right side waist all the way from your right hip, all the way up to your right armpit, even into your right shoulder blade. And so again, just imagine that balloon on your inhale, nice and slow and beautiful, all sorts of great oxygen. You're just expanding out, giving so much needed stretch there. And then your exhale, you just surrender and release. Push out all that remaining air. Really use this as the time to develop your breath, to develop your lung capacity. See if we can increase it a bit. All that oxygen exchange helps our cells to repair, helps our body to do what it needs to do to help to take care of us. Sometimes when recovering or dealing with illness and you're not as active as maybe you once were, it can be so easy to focus on what you're not able to do, and it can be so frustrating and isolating, and perhaps you can even feel like a burden. But it's practices like this where you can realize that you can take care of yourself. You can do things to help yourself, even if you're very limited physically, that there are things that you can do that benefit your body, your mind, and, I believe, your soul, your spirit. And it's so helpful to try to find practices that support that when we might be limited in other areas or need more help from others than we're used to. It can help us to develop the strength we need to help continue to heal and also to be able to receive help. To ask for help and to receive it is a big step. So be proud of yourself for taking the time for this practice today to take care of yourself. It's a really important and amazing step. Keep breathing into that side. begin to deepen your breath. We're going to slowly start to press up with our palms. Go ahead and come back to sit. Okay, we're going to do another twist that wasn't a typical twist that you might be used to. So we're going to move into a more formal twist position to really help with digestion. Twists, spinal twists are great for the back. They're great for stimulating digestion. So this one's called revolved abdomen twist. So this is one where just kind of it helps to listen rather than to try to figure out maybe visually what's going on. At least for me, when I see this position, I get confused, but when I hear it, oh, it suddenly clicks. So we're going to go ahead and take our bolster and we're going to keep it going sideways. And we're going to place it, about halfway up the bed. Again, we might adjust this. Again, it just depends on what's going to work for you. And you're going to need probably 2 pillows or a blanket for this one. So I'm going to have my couch cushions handy, and you're going to come up to sit on the bolster. And so let's start with the left side. So have one of your cushions handy on the ground where your left leg's going to go. And then have the other one handy as well, because we're going to put it between our knees. So you're sitting on your bolster. So now you're going to turn to your left side. So your left hip is going to be on the bolster. Your left leg is going to be on the ground. So we're going to go ahead and take that other cushion and we're going to put it between our knees. So we have the cushion on the bottom. We have the cushion between our knees. Our left hip is on the bolster and our right hip is on the air, however you want to put it. So we're going to lie down still on our left side. And then it's important, this turn, this twist, comes from your torso, not from your knees. We don't want to wrench our back. So very gently, we're going to turn to face upward. So our chest is going to face up. Our knees and our hip is still going to face to the left. So we're kind of doing a 90-degree turn. So our chest is facing up and your arms can kind of be in a cactus shape, just going above you. And we're going to relax and release into this twist and breathe. Again, you want your shoulder blades on the ground, or not on the ground, on the bed in this case. And we're just going to relax deeply into this twist. You're going to breathe and you may feel some tightness in your right hip, your right side. That's totally fine and normal. We're just going to work on breathing into our abdomen, our lower belly, and enjoying the benefits of this twist. Twists help to energize. Again, they help with digestion. We're going to breathe and twist. And feel free to adjust the position of your knees, again, to find comfort. We want only a little bit of sensation, not much. So adjust as you need. You may be familiar with doing this type of twist on the ground, on your mat, and other forms of yoga. With the addition of the bolster, it's just adding a little bit of extra support, a little bit of extra height to stimulate blood flow. So it becomes even more nourishing, I think, than the regular on the ground one. Let yourself sink into the bed. Be supported by the bolster. Just enjoy being supported. On your next inhale, just deepen it. Exhale out. We're going to gently come to center. Slowly rise back up. You can stay seated on the bolster as we shift to go to the other side and move the twist to our right side. So as you're sitting on the bolster, go ahead and put your bottom cushion where your right leg is going to go. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn onto our right side so that our right hip is on the bolster. Our right leg is on the cushion. Put the other cushion that you have in between your knees. So again, we're on our right side. We're going to lay down on our right side. And then just like before, the twist is going to come from our torso. So we're going to very slowly and gently adjust so that our shoulder blades are on the ground. Our arms can be in that cactus shape. And remember, we're not having strain from the low back. Our knees are bent to the right. And again, our chest is facing up. So we're getting that nice, nourishing spinal twist. So go ahead and close down your eyes. Settle into the pose. See how it's going to be comfortable for you. Remember, that's most important, that we feel comfortable and that we feel supported, because that facilitates us to let go, both physically and emotionally. So for today's practice, what do you want to let go of? Is there an emotion, an attitude, a feeling, a situation? You don't have to think of a lot. Don't need to task yourself with letting go of everything that's ever happened to you. But just in this moment, what's one thing that you want to let go of? And let that be the focus of your practice today as you settle into your breath, as you find support in these positions. Just keep thinking, I'm letting go of, resentment, anger, regret, worry, comparing myself to others, comparing to myself to what I used to be or what I was before or what I should be, what I think I should be. Whatever it is, let's focus on letting that go today, dropping that one bit of heaviness that might be weighing on us. And you don't have to try too hard to do that. You just breathe, you rest into the poses, and you let it happen. We try, and that's what we do. We keep on trying. Remember to breathe deep into that low belly. Breathe out nice and slow. Just like before, let's inhale. You can remove the cushion from between your knees. Come back to center. Very gently, very slowly, let's press on up. We can move the cushions to the side for now. We'll come to them later. And we can come off the bolster. It's going to go vertical this time, and we're going to come into supported bound angle pose. So depending on your flexibility, I'm going to come to the front so you can see me a little better. You may need to prop your bolster up, and since we're not using blocks, actually you might need the cushions. Told you to put them away, but you might need them. So you can put cushions on top of your bolster. You can put them underneath as a single layer if you just want to do like that. You could try to prop up like blocks by putting two pillows like so, putting the bolster over top so that you do have a slight angle going. So it's really up to you how far and how deep you want to go with bound angle today. So I am just going to use my regular bolster. So we're going to bring our low back, line it up with the base of the bolster, and we're going to bring the soles of our feet together. And the closer they are to your pelvis, the more intense the stretch is going to be. So feel free to just move it out any distance that you want to go. And then very slowly, with control, we're going to go ahead and lean all the way back onto our bolster. And I'm going to keep the time for us so that we can just focus on relaxing. So as you settle into this pose, feel this is your time to adjust as necessary. Remember, we're not looking for a ton of sensation. We're not looking for pain ever. So feel free to adjust, to place pillows around you. You can place a blanket over top of you, whatever's going to facilitate comfort. Another option is that you can take any cushions or a blanket, put it underneath your knees, like so, if that's more comfortable to you. So, whatever's going to serve you best, go ahead and do that. Your hands they can be at your sides, palms facing up. You can have them just resting gently on your thighs. Wherever you prefer to have them, they can be on your low belly. If you're really looking for peace and comfort, you can put one hand, maybe your left hand over your heart space, and another hand over your belly. So, whatever's speaking you today, wherever you're needing some comfort. We're going to keep taking those deep breaths, and you can think on the inhale, you expand, and on the exhale, you release and you let go. What's that one thing you're looking to let go of? Imagine that with every exhale, you can let go of that. And if you haven't done so, close down your eyes, turn inward, and dedicate yourself to rest here. if you find your mind has wandered to places you'd rather not, just gently steer it back to your breath. You can always very simply focus on, I like to think of the saying just very simply, I'm inhaling and expanding. I'm exhaling and releasing. And you can just think that over and over again. Just bring it back. Give the mind something else to focus on. It doesn't have to be fancy, but just a point of concentration. Deepen your breath. And we're going to slowly come up from this position. So take your palms, bring them palms face down onto the bed. Maybe come to your forearms first. Press up with your palms. And you may need to just close your knees, your legs like a book. Sometimes when they're stretched out, they need a little help. And we'll get ready to move into our next position. So I might just move these things out of the way a little bit. Give myself some room. Okay. So we're going to go into fan pose, which at least for me is one that I require a lot of props for because I'm not very flexible in it, at least in the very beginning. So we're going to take our bolster, put it right in front of us, and we're going to have our legs spread out. And it almost always helps me to take a blanket, place it under my pelvis, under my butt, so that it helps me tilt my pelvis forward and helps me with this forward fold, with this stretch. I almost always need that. So I recommend, it can be a little pillow, the blanket, doesn't matter. Now, some of you may be flexible enough that you feel great coming all the way forward just onto your bolster like this. And if you're comfortable and feeling great with that, absolutely go for it. Now, for those of you that are like, no, that is not me. So what you want to do is you can take, let's say 2 pillows to start with, place them under your bolster. So we've got a little angle going, so it's bringing the bolster closer to us so that we don't have to fold so far forward. And then you might need to close the gap a bit more and maybe even put a pillow on top. So it feels like you're just building like a pillow fort essentially for yourself to fall into, which is super nice feeling. So however you're setting it up, you can never use too many pillows, is how I feel. So bring it up so that you're at a comfortable stretch moving forward and that you have something that you can sink into. That's the whole point. We want to be able to sink into the bolster, sink into our enormous pillow pile that you might have going on, full of blankets, whatever. But we just need something to sink into because it's important that, again, like with all the poses, that we let go, that we feel supported enough physically that we don't have to try to actively keep ourselves up. And this is a great stretch for our hips, both inner and outer. I feel it personally. And for our hamstrings, our legs, our pelvis, our hips can get super tight if we're not moving a lot. So this is just a way to really nourish those areas, bring some energy and vitality back into them. So turn your head whatever way is comfortable, doesn't matter which one. And you may find that you get more flexibility as you sink into the pose. So feel free to adjust, remove some pillows, do whatever you need. So let's breathe right into our pelvis. This can be a challenging pose, so let's go ahead and work with that discomfort if you might be feeling it. So our palms are facing up. Our arms are just they're just heavy. They're, wet noodles. Okay, just laying down. There's just length in our neck. We're not trying anything. And so on our inhale, let's just like breathe into that hip joint, our left and right hip joint, our pelvis, our sacroiliac joint, our hip sockets, like these often neglected areas. So let's just imagine that we can send our breath there on each inhale and then exhale and release like normal. Inhale, inhaling in oxygen, cellular activity right into that pelvis. Exhale out. Just play around with your breath in this pose. Maybe you send it to your hamstrings, your knees, your feet. Maybe you really focus on the spine, the upper back, expanding into there. Just play around. You don't have to pick one spot. Just see where you can send some extra love, release, energy, and spaciousness. Create space where you feel constriction. So start following your intuition, listening to your body, and moving your own breath and energy there. Find constriction, breathe in to create space. Deepen your breath. Go ahead and turn your palms over. Gently press yourself, slowly rise back on up. Start to take down your pillow fort, whatever you've got going on there, as we get ready to move into our next pose, which is going to be reclined hero pose. So I'm going to move my blanket out. I don't need it anymore, but you're going to keep the pillows handy. So we're going to take our bolster. It's still going to be going vertical, lengthwise, however you want to prefer it. And just place it right here on the bed. Doesn't matter. We're not going to be leaning too far back. We want to have enough space in front. So very similar to bound angle, you might need to put your bolster on an angle with some pillows underneath. You might do pillows on top. That feels good to me sometimes. So find your space, because this can be a fairly deep stretch. So again, we don't want to go with too much sensation. So let's see where you go. So we're going to come sitting here on our feet, coming onto our knees. And this is a great quad stretch. This is really good for releasing the lower back, especially if you have sciatica. When I have that act up, I love this pose. So you're going to have your low back come up to the back of the bolster, wherever it is, and you're going to move back down. And you might be thinking, oh my goodness, quad stretch, what are you doing to me? So depending how you feel, I want you to check for a couple things. One, is there too much strain? Then you're going to go ahead and you're going to level up your bolster by putting cushions underneath it, rise it up to whatever level that you need for comfort. Second of all, I want you to check to make sure that you're not having compression in the low back. So you want to make sure that your low back, in my case, is on the bolster, that you're not having too much pressure or a weird angle put on that joint there. So pinching is never good, and so you can adjust that by sometimes, putting just one cushion even at the base of the bolster, coming down, and that can help to release some compression in the low back. So adjust to what you need. And again, this is a really nice release of the low back. Good for sciatica. And again, as you're feeling, it can be a stretch all the way through your quads, even into your hip flexors. So close down your eyes and just have your arms out to your sides, palms facing up. Shrug your shoulder blades down your back. Like, just get your shoulders out of your ears. Don't jam them up into your ears. We want to have a nice length in our spine, in our neck especially. Breathe in and release. This is a really good checkpoint to see if you're holding any tension in your face. You may even, if you have an eye pillow, you can place it on top for added relaxation. You can do that literally in any pose you want. But see if you can release some tension in your jaw, your face, your forehead. Where are you holding tension? Where can you release it? And we always have places of tension. So very rarely do we get to a point where there's just nothing. So just without judgment, just with a curiosity, see where the tension exists and see if you can lessen it. You may not be able to get rid of all of it, but can you turn the dial down on it by sending your breath there, finding tension, and melting it away with your breath. Imagine that your breath has tension melting powers, and you're just sending it to wherever there's tension. So breathing in deep, breathing out just as deep, if not deeper than your inhale. Rest. Feel the support of the bolster and the pillows and of the bed. Deepen your breath. So we want to come out of this pose very slowly, very carefully. So I like to take the palms of my hands facing down, kind of press them into the bottom of my feet, pull the lower belly in, and just come to my forearms, then press up with my palms. Again, just find your own way that very slowly lifts up so that you're not just making jerky movements or straining your back. So come out of this pose and feel free to kind of, move your legs around if they fell asleep or, it sometimes feels good as a release. So for our next pose, also going to be a release. We're going to do just a very simple, really good for digestion pose, belly down over the bolster. So the bolster is going to be going sideways and about a third of the way down the bed. We'll try with adjust as necessary. Go ahead and come to tabletop all fours. And we're going to come down, lower down over the bolster so that it's literally on our belly. So think of it just above your pelvis, just above your hips, over the low belly and mid belly. And we're going to go ahead and come all the way down. And you're going to find the right spot for you. You want it to be comfortable and not, straining your ribs. There's a certain point that where it feels really good. And so you've just got to kind of find it for each person, as I say. And you can bring your forehead down to the bed. You can bring them down onto your hands. Whatever works good for you. Whatever feels right. And we're going to breathe here, and it might be a little challenging. I know we're compressing the abdomen here, but this is really great for digestion, really great for releasing tension. I think sometimes, or at least I used to just forget, there's really abdominal muscles. You think of the organs and the skin, but there's muscles there where we can hold a lot of tension. Our neck and shoulders often get all the attention for tension, as I say. But we can hold a lot in our guts, our bellies, our abdomens. This is a really nice way to release those muscles as well. Turn your head to one side, whatever feels good. Close your eyes and just focus on release. Anytime we lay on our bellies, it's just a beautiful position of surrender and grounding and stress relief. So let yourself come into that. Deepen your breath. Place your palms into the bed. And we're going to gently press ourselves back up. Nice and slow. So in our last pose before Shavasana, we're going to do legs up the headboard since we don't have a wall. And don't worry if you don't have a headboard or your headboard is not well suited to this pose. I've got options for you that I'll run through briefly, but I'll start with the headboard. So you can move the bolster out of the way. And you're going to face your headboard. And you're going to bring your legs up just like it was legs up the wall. So actually, rather than face the headboard, you might want to bring one of your hips, left or right, up close to the headboard. And then come on down. And then just wiggle around. Again, don't worry about being graceful or doing this in one fell swoop of a move. Place your legs up the wall and settle into the pose. Shrug your shoulders down your ears. Wait, down away from your ears, not down away from your ears. And find evenness in your hips and your low back. And you can extend your arms out, palms facing forward, and sink into the pose. So if your headboard works, if this position works for you, just melt into the position right now and just focus on your breath. For the rest of you where this pose is not working because of your setup, let's look at some other options that I'm going to take you through. So option 1 is to go ahead and bring your bolster into play. Bring it horizontal. You're going to turn around and you're going to sit on the bolster. So bring your pelvis, your butt on the bolster. You're going to lean back, making sure that your tailbone is on the bolster. That you're evenly situated, and you can do, it's a yin pose, yin yoga pose. Bring your legs up. It's called waterfall. So they're not up against anything, but you're supported with your hips and your tailbone on the bolster so that you can just stay up like this and have your legs be weightless. And similar to if you were using the wall or headboard, palms facing up, arms out to your side. Settle into that pose, settle into that comfort, into that groundedness. Release, create space. If this doesn't work for you, the third option, so if you like waterfall, go ahead, stay in there, relax. Just like if you're at the headboard, keep relaxing. But for any others of you where this wasn't working, so you're going to take your bolster and we're going to do a nice pillow pile. So take your cushions, okay? Cushions, a pillow, and we're going to go ahead and build up just like right about there. You know, you're going to build up a ways so that way when you come to your back, what you're going to do, you're going to bring your legs on top of your bolster pillow pile, just like it was a chair or a couch. So your knees are bent, your calves are over your pillow pile. And this is just a nice way of bringing your knees above your heart. So we're still stimulating the blood flow. Whether we're doing the waterfall version of this pose, whether we're doing the full legs up the headboard, we're encouraging that circulation of blood. We're encouraging that oxygen exchange. So even just doing this where you don't have quite the height in your legs is totally fine. So go ahead and have your palms facing up, your arms at your side. Shrug your shoulders down and away from your ears. For everyone, deep breaths in. Deep, deep, deep. Your deepest yet, like beyond deep. Imagine your diaphragm is just cavernous, and as you exhale, it's just whooshing out like a wind going through the cave, actually going through the cavern. And you're just sinking into the bed. Feel the comfort. Feel the support. Feel the fresh flow of energy, of blood coming through your body, your cells, your brain, as you just focus on releasing tension. Nothing else to do, and you don't have to work hard at this. You're just breathing in and expanding in that big cavern and exhaling, releasing out all that air, really building up your lung capacity here. Enjoying the surrender, enjoying the relaxation, knowing that you are doing very good by your body here. And it feels good to take care of ourselves. We often don't do it enough or resist it, but it feels good and it should. So just enjoy hopefully feeling a little bit better, or maybe a lot of it, than when you started practice today. Go ahead and deepen your breath. And if you're in either waterfall or have your legs up the headboard, go ahead and gently bring your legs back down. You can bring your knees into your chest, give them a little hug. For those of you that are on the pillow pile, go ahead and do the same. Bring your knees into your chest, give a little hug, a rock on your low back. And then go ahead and make your way into Shavasana. The easiest way, just stay laying down, move things out of the way. I'm just going to flip around for the sake of the camera angle. It'll be a little better if I move around, but please stay in an easy pose for you. As you come to Shavasana, it may feel nice to have a bolster underneath your knees. Elevate your legs a little bit and come down, and you may want to cover yourself with a blanket. You may have gotten cold, but also the blanket can feel really, really good on your nervous system, bring a soothing quality to that. And then you can take your eye pillow or your eye mask and just, if you have it, place that. You could use like a sock or a t-shirt, anything to kind of lessen stimulation, so get nice and comfortable and warm. And as you settle into Shavasana, go ahead and extend your arms out to your side, palms facing up. And again, find length in your neck. Scan for any tension in your jaw, your face, and let it go. And make this an exercise in letting go, a curious one where you figure, how much can I let go? Can you really feel like you are melting into the bed in a good way? That you can let go of feeling it, that you can just rest. How much can you let go? How much peacefulness and calm can you bring into your body? And it may be a little different every single day. And if you've been spending a lot of time in bed, you might be sick of the location, sick of bed. I just invite you to think, can you make bed be a restful place, a place of rejuvenation? Is there any way to flip that script? To imagine this as your own healing haven. Just come to whatever breath is natural and keep sinking, feeling the place where your body touches the bed, allowing yourself to slow down and get more grounded with every single breath. Be grateful to yourself for taking the time to do this practice today. Rest in gratitude. Feel free to stay in Shavasana as long as you like. If you would like more time, I recommend pausing the video and continuing to rest. If you're ready to be guided out, go ahead and take a nice deep inhale and exhale out. Start to roll those ankles and wrists, wiggling fingers and toes. You can remove your eye pillow or eye mask. You can keep your eyes closed though if you like. You can take a nice big stretch like a cat. Stretch your arms overhead and your feet. Make yourself really long. Then go ahead and roll over to one side. You can stay here for a minute, just a moment. Breathing and pressing yourself up just to take any easy seat. You can keep your eyes closed if you like. We're going to end our practice together by taking one unified breath in and out. So please go ahead and bring your palms together in front of your heart. Inhale in. Exhale out. Namaste, friends. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I hope this brought you some balance and peace and that you're feeling pretty good. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to my channel. I would absolutely love it, and the support for Yoga Online. Thank you so much. See you soon.